Hi, I just wanted to make a video about dealing with suicide and suicidal thoughts, and just some thoughts I had about dealing with it, because it's if you've experienced it for yourself, it can feel like there's no escaping your situation, or like you're at a dead end and you can't find a way to cope. And like a lot of people try when they have like suicidal thoughts and depression. It's like no matter what you try, nothing works. Nothing helps. Like, no coping mechanism in the long run actually has like a life-changing effect. And my thought on that is simply when I felt like I was completely trapped by my situation, and that there was no escape from it, and I was just in a prison of my own making, or circumstantial. It's a mixture of like circumstances, traumatic events, and then your own imagination, and there's some spiritual aspects in there that are kind of harder to put a finger on exactly where in your story, negative spiritual forces were coming to, amplify or distort further what you were already feeling and make it 100 times worse. So I won't put a scientific. I can't tell you that I know everything about that. It's too much for me to understand as a limited human being. But I definitely do believe there is a spiritual component to you being in the place you're at when you're in a suicidal mentality, or when you're in a depressed state. And I would just like to encourage anybody that's also either there right now or is in recovery from having severe mental illness in the areas of like depression, like severe depression, or severe wanting to end your life because you feel like there's no route out of that situation. So my experience with that is that when I get depressed when I'm like, I feel like there's no way around, and I'm just stuck, and I have no agency in my life, and I'm going to be in that same emotional state of just emptiness and zero motivation to do your dream, or like have a chance at having a normal state of mind or peace, or like and you can. I would encourage you not to compare yourself to anybody else while you're going through this. Like somebody that seems to be more healthy, or like is more on top of their crap, and it's like, why? Because you can point at somebody else who's having a better time in life, and instead of being happy for them, you can make it about yourself and be like, there's something wrong with me because they seem to be normal, and something must be inherently wrong with me. Like something deep, on a deep level, is wrong with me because I'm always in this depressed state, or I always come back to this same dead end, and there seems to be no resolution. and other people seem to be having resolution and doing their dreams, and why don't I have the motivation? It's like, okay, so for people that don't deal with depression and haven't had severe depression before, what that can be like is like say like you're like, you compare yourself to like a car. Like, it's like you're trying to drive your car without any gasoline, and then for some reason roadblocks come up every time you pass a gas station. You can't get access to the gasoline even if you wanted to, so you're just scraping on fumes. And it, like, depression sucks all your motivation completely out of you. And I would encourage people that haven't dealt with it to not judge people that seem to keep coming back to a depressed state or a low motivation state, because it's not that the person that is depressed doesn't want to get better. It's just that they don't have a way to get the gasoline that you get all the time. And it's for a lot of reasons. Like, there's a lot of reasons why they just don't, you don't just wake up one day and you're depressed. Like, it's a process. It takes time to get that way, and there's always a story behind it. It's never for no reason. There's always a reason why somebody's there. So just be compassionate, and don't say that person's a loser, or like, they probably want to get better, you know, for the most part, for people that I've, and from understanding myself when I've been severely depressed, is that I wanted to get better, but I just had no solution to do that. And I like, with all my heart, wanted to become a better person, and I tried a lot of stuff. I tried to make myself better as any way I could, and you know, the answers I found were really crappy and kind of fell apart. But that makes me want to go to the next point, which is, if you are in that place, how do you get out? I like to think of it like, when you're at a suicidal point and you feel like your life has no purpose, you're like at a dead end, and like, this is you, and like, you're hitting a wall, or you're in like a prison or something. Like, a metaphor, like, could be like a prison, or like a huge wall you can't scale, and it's too high to climb, and you can't see any. But the thing is, when you're at a dead end and you're this close to the wall, you can't see a mile away that there's a little hole in the wall that you can sneak through. Or you can't, if you're just banging your head against the wall over and over again at this dead end, you're not going to break through it from sheer force. It's impossible. So every time I've thought my life was over, and I thought like I had no agency left in my life to choose to I had no way to get around an obstacle, the only way I've been able to like get past that force field, or that like wall that was stopping me from living a normal life, was by taking a huge, like, either taking a small step back, and some of the walls are actually not as big as they seem when you step back, but when you're this close to it, it seems huge and it seems inscalable. But you're this close, of course it seems huge, because you can't see it from a distance. You're making it, you're putting yourself right here. And you know, I would encourage, like, trying to fix yourself from sheer willpower by just smashing against it with your bare fist. You're not going to get through the wall. You need something to blast that wall open, and you're not going to do that by standing at the wall. You got to go find the resources and like go back, and sometimes you got to take a step back to find the resources that are going to enable you to break that wall down that keeps stopping you. And other times, like a lot of the times, in my case, it's been like the wall would seem way bigger, like I was saying a second ago, when I was this close. And it just took me stepping back to see, oh, it's actually not that big. And then I step back even further and I can see like a solution. But it takes time. The thing is, it takes time to step back. It's not just you can take a quick, I also believe it's so situational, because your life circumstances, I have no idea what they are. I totally believe you could like phase through the wall, even just phase through it, like just walk through that wall, like, and it doesn't have to be a huge process, but it's the bigger the more intense the wall is, the more resources and the more time you're going to need to spend either walking away completely and trying to see it from a new perspective, and just allowing yourself to not beating yourself up about not doing anything about it, because sometimes you need to step back to like allow yourself to see clearly. I don't know, so anyway, you need a new perspective. If you're stuck, you need to switch up the way you see things by taking a step back and observing it a little bit from the outside, objectively, and not from your emotions. And that's going to allow you to find solutions that are more feasible and seem doable. And like ways that I use to step back that might help you as well, as like I think what I'm really trying to say is just, you can't fix yourself. You can't heal yourself. I mean, you can heal yourself, but you can't do that work. Like, you have to let go and just let God do it, or whatever you want to, the universe, getting in touch with the universe, or getting in touch with your higher self, whatever you want to put it. Like, you can't, your heart can only take so much struggling and trauma before it breaks. And banging your head against the wall isn't going to fix your problem, and you're not strong enough to break through that wall on your own. You're not. Nobody is Superman. Nobody's Jesus Christ besides Jesus Christ. So you're not invincible. You have to communicate. Like, the first step to solving whatever issue that is roadblocking you and dead-ending you is just to be completely honest with yourself and say, I have an issue. I need to talk to other people. I can't keep this to myself because it's eating me alive. And the longer I keep this to myself, the more damage it's going to do. And that's messed up. That's not loving yourself. Like, you also have to find people that have ears to hear however dark it is. Like, there's people out there that that are in your life that you have access to that will hear you out and not judge you for your situation. It's all, the only people that will judge you is because they're ignorant and they haven't gone through what you've gone through or experienced what you're experiencing. But billions of other people throughout history have experienced exactly what you've experienced, however traumatic it is. You're not alone ever in what you've gone through. And sure, like, the way it impacted you might be different than someone else, and it might have, there's varying degrees of how effed up it effed your life up and how much damage it did. And some things that seem like small, that should be small, can actually have a huge impact on your life. And I think especially if they happen when you're a child. So I just want to release you from any fear of people judging you. And if they do, just understand it's completely from ignorance and completely from a lack of understanding. And you can totally throw that opinion away. You don't have to keep it close to your chest, because it's ignorance. It's complete ignorance. So you're not alone. There is a way out of your situation. There always is. There always is a way out. And it's just, you can't see it right now, but it's so true. I've lived this. I've experienced this. Like, I used to be so depressed, so suicidal, and now I'm not. And like, I still go there. I still have depressed days. I still have depressed weeks. I'm going through like a whole couple months. I'm kind of depressed right now, but I'm able to see past it, like, in a way that I couldn't when I was younger, where I'm like, I have like hope for my life, and my life is starting to feel like I'm going to come out of this, and it's starting to become real to me. I just want to like tell you this too. It's true for you as well. You're going to come through the other side, and you're going to see life in a totally different way than how you see it right now. It's not going to be as dark. It's not going to be as crunched together and small and like you have no chance or future. Like, you're going to have a killer life, and it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And I just want to encourage you, it's going to be faster if you just are honest with yourself and tell somebody about it. If you can be honest with yourself first, that's gonna be the first step to getting towards the solution. You can't just hide it forever, and that's gonna be upsetting to hear for some people. I don't know. This might only get like 20 views, but anyway, I'm trying to be as honest as I can be with myself, and sometimes it hurts to be like that honest and that vulnerable, because it's like you want to make people think you're like, I don't know, like as a man you want to like make people think you're strong and like they can rely on you or whatever, but it's, your heart can only take so much, and that expectation on top of what you're going through isn't what you need right now. It's too much. It's taking up too much like RAM in your brain. You're like, your processor is off the charts. Like, you can't your heart can only take so much, like, before it fails, like you can't do it forever, and it's not healthy for you, and in the long run it's not healthy for anybody else in your life. And I'm learning this about myself. I'm talking about myself currently. Like, this is what I'm realizing, and I don't want to come off as I have the moral high ground. I am just as fucked up as anyone, and I'm talking to myself right now. So okay, so some practical stuff you can do to like take a step back from your situation is like, I like to do like sensory deprivation therapy stuff, where like I'll show you. Literally all you need to do, and if you want to take like helping yourself seriously, I highly recommend this. You just take like a little sheet of paper, a little 8.5 by 11 printer paper, and you just like make like a little mask out of it basically, and like do that. And then I wear like sound canceling headphones and put white noise on at the same time, and just lay down in a bed, and keep my eyes open. And it's a form of meditation, kind of, but it's like a hyper form of meditation. For me, it works really well because it takes all the distractions away, and helps me like I can process my thoughts a lot cleaner, less distracted way. So it helps me like pick through my mind and kind of purify my thoughts. And sometimes it's really uncomfortable, and sometimes it takes like a whole hour to have it not be because I'm just hurting, or like my emotions. Like if I'm like a glass of water, like I'm like have all these impurities in my water, and like I'm like it's like a black, murky, muddy color. And what like literally just wearing a piece of paper over my face like helps me like make that glass of water start to get clearer and clearer. And then I can go further, like I can remember things that I haven't thought about in like years, and like process those things too, because sometimes like you suppress memories that are affecting you today, like that happened like years ago. And it's all about just uncovering and then letting it go, like uncovering it, like revealing the darkness, and then saying, disconnecting it from your personal identity. It's, it takes the first step, like that's what I'm talking about with like just being honest with yourself. Like the first step to recovering mentally or whatever is like revealing what's dark inside you, what's messing up your whole life. Just uncovering it, because you can't deal with something if you don't know what it is. You know what I mean? So just recognizing it and saying that it's there and being honest, like, yes, this is an issue I have. And then after that, cutting the like tie it has to you, like cutting like it's not who you are. That dark thing isn't actually who you are, and it might want to tell you that it is, but it's a lie. So like who you are isn't that darkness. Like nothing you can attach to yourself as your identity is of darkness. And if you feel that, like your emotions can lie to you and tell you that that's who you are, but it's just not true. It's simply not true. You got to fight, you got to go against the way you feel and be like, that's not me. I reject that. I totally reject that. It's not who I am. No matter how real it feels. It's just not. Like nothing dark is actually tied to us. Like it's a projection, and it's like the Matrix. It's like a lie reality, and it seems really real, but it's actually a lie. So like the sensory deprivation helps. Here's like another metaphor I like to think. I just had this thought today where like if you've ever seen the show Dragon Ball Z, there's like this villain in the show called Frieza, and he's like this alien emperor. And so this main protagonist, Goku, like has to fight him basically to save the universe or whatever, or save the galaxy. So like Frieza is like a good metaphor for like what I like to call the enemy, or like the antagonist in real life. Like I totally believe there's a spiritual antagonist to humanity, and Frieza is like a metaphor for that. And so Goku keeps getting his butt kicked by Frieza, and one of the reasons why is because Frieza has the advantage while Goku's floating. Like they have like, so it's they're like both super warrior fighter alien people. Goku and Frieza are, and they can fly basically. And so but Frieza fights way better when Goku and him are in the air, floating in midair, Frieza just beating him across the planet, and Goku's just like, he realized something clicks where he's like during the fight he's like, okay, as long as I'm floating in the air, this enemy keeps kicking my butt. But what if I go to the ground and fight on the ground and have like a tether and force him to come to the ground to fight me? And then he does that, and Goku starts like doing a lot better and like beating the enemy, because he's like not floating in the air, just being hit, able to be like tossed around as much, because the ground tethers him and Frieza to something solid. So like, I had this thought, like, the enemy in real life, the spiritual enemy of humanity in real life, can toss you around as long as he has your mind floating and not tethered to anything grounded, not tethered to anything secure. So as long as you're distracted and like are just floating, and just he can toss you around way easier. But it becomes more of a battle when you tether yourself to the ground and start fighting him that way. Like you because you have a more solid, you're not just floating anymore. You have like something you're tethered to that's secure, that's keeping you standing strong, versus just flying in zero gravity. So there, you got to do things that are you got to calm down and step back from the distractions, because you can get lost in the floating zone where your mind is just taking places and you're just like, whoa, I'm getting beat up, and you don't know how to come back to the ground. So I would encourage you to find healthy ways to come back to the ground, so you can get your mind back. You can like, and you have to find things that are true. Like the ground is the truth, and you have to come to the truth, because you can be unaware that you're even floating sometimes, and you're just being tossed by like the ocean and just tossed back and forth. And you got to find something solid, or else you're just going to be tossed by the, like, you got to find an island or like something like you get it. But like things that help me come to the ground is like seeking God through meditation, seeking God through sensory deprivation meditation. Like in social situations, I can get really anxious, and like stepping away from the crowd for like 15 minutes and then re-engaging after that. Like just taking basically something that takes a step back, that your attention isn't on something, and you can just let go, because you can't fix your problems all the time by putting your attention on it. You know, like there's this great advertisement I saw about like meditation, and it was like, some things in life, it requires focus and attention, but something like falling asleep, the more focused you are and hyper active in your mind you are, the longer it's going to take for you to fall asleep. So it's like, you have to have a healthy balance of focusing. Sure, focus on your dream, like work hard, but then like at the same time have a really good balance of rest. Your brain needs to rest. Like you need to let your brain unwind at some point, like every day. It's like an exercise. It's like so healthy. It's like exercising for your brain, because it lets all of that toxic thought process to just unravel itself. And that's what like meditation is really helpful for. It just looking at your thoughts and observing them and just having them unravel and get clearer and get clearer and get clearer. So I'd encourage you to meditate if you're serious about wanting to change up your mental health. I'd encourage you to do sensory deprivation with a piece of paper, just a white sheet of paper in like a semi-lit room, and do that. It's actually, I like it a lot more than meditation, because it's more peaceful, and like I can focus better on, I can let my mind unravel even further than I would just staring at a wall. But also, I'm a believer. I totally believe God is the only one that can heal you. And doing like meditation or just sitting back or just literally just relaxing. You don't even have to call it meditation. Just letting your brain take a break. I feel like God can enter that and start to, he understands your process, where you're at right now. And I don't. I only have like some tools that I can share. So like, he's the only one that's going to be able to do it, to heal your brain, because he understands you. And you know, he can reach it. You don't have to be ashamed about coming to God. Like, he can reach through if you're doing something harmful to yourself, if you're like if you're living a life that other people would consider shameful, it doesn't matter. Like, he'll reach into your situation just because he loves you. And people's judgment, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just somebody's thought. Unless they're like going out of their way to hurt you physically, people's opinions don't really matter at all. So like, I just want to say to anybody dealing with suicide, this is going on for a long time, but like, there is you're going to find a way out of where you're at right now. It's not going to be like this for a long time. And you're going to have a healthier perspective in like a year. You know, if you like allow yourself to get healed and just, you know, stop being so busy or distracted. You know, I'm distractible. I watch YouTube like way too much. Like, I love podcasts. And I need to, you know, I try to meditate, but you know, I need to chill on the podcast and YouTube. But anyway, I'm not better than you. Like, you're not better than me. And a lot of people want to make you feel like they're better than you, but they're not. Like, nobody's better than anybody here. We're all just children. We're all just learning. We're all in school right now, the school of life. Nobody has the perfect solution. I don't have the perfect solution. So just you're going to get better. And I know it. Like, I totally know you're going to get better, because I've gotten better, and I thought I wasn't going to get better. So, all right. Peace and love. Love you guys. Just, you're going to make it. Believe me, you're going to make it.